listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text us on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, or email the show, you oldies, with you can do that via the Absolute Radio website.
Oh, I loved you oldies.
I've noticed that thing. If people say now, I was talking to someone the other night and they said, I saw that played it. I wrote to him about it, said I thought it was great. Do they mean I sent an email? They don't mean I wrote to him as in a letter, do they?
I'd like to think they did.
Nobody does.
People don't write letters.
Don't they?
When was the last letter you got?
I got one this morning.
Yeah, but who from?
Well, I got one. This is just to prove it's not an
He
email.
has in his hand a letter.
Yes.
It's
Is
actually...
it Chancellor? German Chancellor?
It is from the German Chancellor, Herr Hitler.
Weird.
Sorry, awful response.
Apparently it's all going to be all right. It's going to be peace in our time.
Yeah.
No, it's from Guinness. Remember last week I kept on about the Guinness Book of Records?
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I said I don't think it was called that anymore. And sure enough, so it was sold. I had a letter from Craig, the editor-in-chief.
Oh.
And
shut up.
he was saying it got sold and they had to distinguish it from Guinness the brewer
Oh, yeah.
and Guinness the record keeper.
Ah.
So there's no connection between these characters?
Not anymore.
Is it two
Not
different
anymore.
Two different Guinea.
Yeah.
So if you buy that book now, you'd buy the Guinness World Records book. That's what you'd buy.
Oh.
But anyway, I'll tell you what they sent me. I remember they said last week that as we'd had the first, whatever it was, the only song to be number one 4 times.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That they'd send me the official Guinness World Records certificate. And I said, well, do you think you could send me the one for the biggest drop from number one, which we also hold, 96 places in 1 week?
Yeah.
And they you know what? They come out on top and sent both. And
Well
in fact,
done,
we
then.
put a picture on the social media
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
of me holding same. But there's a fabulous thing, because Craig, who obviously is Mr. Records,
He's the editor-in-chief. is
yeah,
he?
he says
I'd love his working day.
he was
Yeah.
on about the fact that it was my birthday on the 28th of January, as you may recall, and he said, "Oh, interesting day, 28th of January," and then points out. It was the day of the longest eyeball pop, where Keith Smith popped his eyes out of their sockets for 53.01 seconds in 2009.
I'm glad Keith Smith wasn't a friend of mine.
Oh, I'm not. I'm slightly sad he's not a friend of mine.
Also, the largest Agadoo dance was on the 28th of January
Now you're
2014. 393 people at Old Trafford. Should have asked you to guess that. It's bad broadcasting.
Yeah.
That's all right. There will be other opportunities for guessing games.
What
in the
about
next
this?
3 hours?
This one.
I'm okay.
This one I like. The fastest sheep to suit. Members of FH Mönchengladbach turned a sheep into a 3-piece suit
Oh my God.
in
Excellent.
1999. How long? From living animal to garment. How long?
1 hour 52.
A week.
1 hour, 2 minutes, 36
Wow.
seconds.
That is good.
I mean,
Oh, come on. I mean,
is it good or is it awful? I don't know.
I like it.
Um,
Presumably they got a
when
wool
John
suit out
John
of it as
Motson
well.
says, "I need a new coat," he needs a new coat.
Yeah.
No, but that's it. A sheep turned into a suit as well. A suit.
A suit.
Not a coat.
what did the suit look like?
Sheep-like, I imagine.
Oh,
There's
well,
a
just-
little bit of entrail on the inside pocket. And also,
It's the waistband that I worry about.
What, the cummerbund?
Well, just the sheepy waistband. A bit weird.
Sheepy waistband.
Yeah.
I think I used to go out with her. I had also a card from Elspeth in Twickenham, who sent me a DVD for my...
Yeah, but we don't want to know about this on the radio.
Yeah.
No, it's called...
blackmail.
Do you know it? I must have said I'd never heard of it.
1998.
It's called... Yeah. It's... me and some people from I can't remember the name of the band even. Anyway, the Incredible Burt Wonderstone. Does that ring any bells, film-wise, to you?
No.
Me.
You know Mark Kermode, don't you, Em?
I do.
Text him. The Incredible Burt Wonderstone.
Okay.
I don't know, but I look forward to discovering. Same. It's used it twice now, isn't it? I'm enjoying. I don't know if I've ever used it before in my life. So it's nice that you guys were there at the beginning.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Do you have anything to tell me, people?
Well, I've just been in touch with Mark Kermode.
Oh, yeah.
I was corrected when I interviewed him recently.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
I
well,
called him Mark Kermode.
No, he's going to fight. He's going to fight that.
Yeah.
Obviously. We don't want him...
He said it's like Kermit. You have to think of Kermit. Mark Kermode.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So I said, OK, fair enough. And then I did it again at the end.
Oh, no, we don't
So
want
embarrassing.
to lift the lid on that one.
No.
So,
Well, someone's remembered a quip you made.
Yes.
yeah.
Not him.
I'm just starting the Mark Kermode episode. This is of my podcast, and he said, and I've already...
Yes, Emily does a podcast when she takes a dog and a celebrity for a walk, and you should listen to it. What's it?
It's called Walking the Dog.
Yes, Walking the Dog. Check
Thank
it out.
you,
It's a
Frank.
Times newspaper.
Oh, thank you. Just starting the Mark Kermode episode, and I've already got the arthritic claw terrified that he's going to hold Emily accountable for Frank's quip. I've marked a few commodes in my time.
Yeah, well,
When did you say that? I'm so embarrassed.
I think that's
I wish
fine.
I'd known before I interviewed him now. No wonder he
that's-
picked me up on the commode.
It's absolutely fine. I'm sure.
Kermode.
I bet he loved it. I bet he chuckled.
Yeah.
I think I also said that if I was him, I'd have a small surfer hair grip, which I wore on my quib, so it looked like they were coming over a big breaker.
He did.
We've also heard from the outside world. Somebody's emailed asking if you are... They've been reminiscing about Frank's
I'm not,
pavement
before you
racing
ask, I'm
days.
not the Messiah.
No,
You
it's
need
not
Russell Brand.
that. It's not that. It's... They've been reminiscing about your pavement racing days and couldn't
Oh,
help
yes.
but wonder if
Remember
there was
those?
still something that you took seriously as a sport,
Do
or
you?
was now an event that you were trying to raise buzz to be more than aware of.
I think, in case for new readers, I used to do a lot of pavement racing. So I'd see someone ahead of me and think I've got to catch them up and overtake them, other
Yes.
fellow pedestrians. And I did it every time I walked anywhere. I did it, and I was never sure whether they knew it was a race or not. But sometimes they would start turning it on a bit as I overtook.
Yeah,
You know,
start quickening.
like they do in F1.
Yeah. Yeah.
So some of them I really think they knew what was going on, but some I just burned off, basically. But I have to say, in later life, I've
It's,
lost my confidence.
Have you, Frank?
Yeah, I haven't
You've
done
not
any,
taken anyone on recently?
I haven't done any pedestrian racing
No.
for a long time.
Maybe you should get back into it. The inquiry came from Mark in Hampshire, who adds a PS, which is about myself. I hope Alan has enjoyed his Friday night trawl thus far. That's where I look through the emails that we receive on a Friday night.
Yeah.
And I look forward to his update on the latest motoring issues caused by the unprecedented weather this week. And I trust it will be as comprehensive as an update as one should expect from a motoring correspondent of his experience.
Lovely.
Well, I'm glad you've teed me up nicely here to one of my bugbears, Mark.
Go on.
I think in snowy weather, people should take the extra minute to scrape the snow off the roof of their car, and they never ever do. I'm sure some of our readership will concur that it's in the highway code. You're supposed to scrape the roof as well as
It
your
can be
windows.
very dangerous.
I never do that.
Because
Well,
as soon
I
as you
read
brake, it's all over your windscreen.
It can cause accidents.
Well, yeah.
Think, man.
Whenever I break, it's always my briefcase falling down.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
650 has texted in. You know, you were discussing the wool suit world record.
Yes, from sheep to suit in just over an hour.
And I had concerns over the sheepskin waistband.
Yes.
Well, 650 texts, obviously a bunch of townies running a radio station. Suits are made from wool, which comes from sheep! ! They only need to be shorn, not put to death! !
Goodness.
Colin from Suffolk.
Well,
Colin.
Sorry,
okay.
Colin.
Colin, we love you. It's okay. Secondly, Colin, what I would say to you is I'm assuming there's some sort of complex process before it gets to that stage.
Yeah.
Okay? If you just...
I'm also, if it wasn't for townies, there wouldn't be any broadcasting. Is what I'm suggesting. Apart from... I mean, this is how you get your news in Suffolk. Oh, yes! Oh, yes! But no, thanks for that. I'm glad you've pointed that out because I don't want any sheep to die for my lapels.
They don't have to die, they can just be shorn. He's right.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay.
they've got to be cut and fashioned in some way. You can't just drape the sheepskin over like a suit.
Oh,
like
no, they'll
that.
do all that, but the sheep then,
Do all
the
that.
sheep's back in the field by then.
Yeah.
You can't say to Karl Lagerfeld, do all that.
No.
No, I don't know if I'd even talk to Karl Lagerfeld.
No.
I don't know if you'd have the choice.
I think he'd be difficult.
He's very strict.
Imagine he'd be difficult. I'd be...
Well, mate, what gives you that idea?
Look, I haven't got the details on this world record. If Karl Lagerfeld's involved in this, I'll eat my hat. Can you imagine the call? Mr. Lagerfeld, who is this? Yes, but we want you to take part in the fastest sheep to suit record. Was? Was is this?
Where's Karl Lagerfeld?
Sheep to suit?
It's German, that's right.
Was is this? Ach du lieber Gott! Open this through! That's how it would have gone with Lagerlout, as I like to call him.
Yeah.
But when the money's...
Karl Lagerlout.
What about when he said to a friend of mine in fashion, someone said, "Oh, we can't do that, Karl. It's too expensive. It's impossible." And he said, "How much is impossible?" Oh, okay. That's how Karl operates. So he might have said that about the sheepskin suit, Frank. You never know.
I'll tell you something. Does he have someone to do that very tiny ponytail? Is he doing that every morning himself as part of his stretching? Because a little one like that, your shoulders as you get older, that little tiny...
He'd be really opening his chest up. That'd
Yeah,
be good
He
for
gets a
him.
credit like Mr. Lagerfeld's ponytail tire.
Oh, that'd
That's
be
your
good.
job.
Yeah, but I reckon Karl, because he's German and a bit no-nonsense, probably does his own. But I bet he's very flexible around the shoulders and that for years of doing that.
Yeah.
Little tip there from the KL.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We were talking about Karl Lagerfeld just quickly. I'd like to round up our Lagerfeld chat with one of my favourite KL quotes, Frank and Alan. Sweatpants are a sign of defeat. You lost control of your life, so you bought some sweatpants. Karl Lagerfeld.
All right.
I'm worried that's alienated about 98% of our listeners.
Well, including me.
Yeah.
Because I love a sweatpants.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing a slipper today, okay?
Well, I'm wearing too much, I've decided, because I've been really hot since I've been in this studio.
Right.
And I'll tell you my dilemma is, and I love a visual gag, me, but underneath this tracksuit top, what I'm wearing.
Oh, yeah.
When I put my clothes on this morning, I put on a long-sleeved sweatshirt thing, and then I put a T-shirt over the top. And I don't know, but you know that look. It's sort of
that
American.
look.
It's sort of.
It's very teenage dirtbag. I quite like it.
It is very teenage. It's
That's
very
you're in
Wayne's
Castle.
World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I looked in the
Park
mirror,
Ryan,
and this
excellent.
happens sometimes, if it's dark sleeves on the long and a lighter one, you do look like one of the chimpanzee in clothes. And so if I take it off, I'll take it off now. Can you two
Let's
talk?
see.
Because I'll have to step away from the
Okay,
microphone.
Frank is unzipping a
I'm
tracksuit
very
top
excited
now.
about this. Actually,
Emily
yeah.
seems to be getting ready to take the photographs. Oh, here we go. No, it's a
Always
dark enough T-shirt for you to...
do you see what I mean?
I think you've got away
Can
with
you
it.
take a picture? I was going to read another Lagerfeld quote at that point, Al, which was,
Oh, okay.
if you are cheap, nothing helps.
Oh dear.
Rules to live by.
I sometimes think he might be a difficult man.
You think so?
Anyway, you see what I mean by the
Frank, let's have a look.
chimping T-shirt.
But
You
you
do
know
look-
what? You're kind of. It's okay. I think you've you managed to make it work.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. I'm just sitting on one of those red noses they used to have on the front of car grills to do the bomb.
And it's a sort of terracotta T-shirt.
Yeah,
Shouldn't
thanks very
see
much.
off. I like that.
Terracotta.
I'm going.
Terracotta.
Yeah.
All right.
How was your birthday, Frank?
Well, my partner likes to take me out for a treat a suitable treat. So
Steady on.
Nice.
if you remember, she took me to the cosmonauts exhibition at the Science Museum.
I remember you saying you thought it was out of this world.
Oh, it was brilliant. And yeah, so it's always somewhat based on one of my passions. So this time it was the Anglo-Saxon Kingdoms exhibition at the British Library.
Excellent.
Which I got to tell you, people, you should go to. It's brilliant. But now here's the thing: Room 101 is dead in the water, as you know. But were I a guest on it, we looked at the exhibition, and Kat said, "Right, let's go. We'll have lunch in the cafe." We went in the cafe there. I would say there was 40 tables. I didn't count them, but it's probably 40. It's quite a big cafe,
Yeah.
and it's not a little tucked away thing. It's like a refectory thing. We just about managed to get a table. But it was 1:30, so.
Right.
But
Peak time.
I would say, I think we were one of 3 people eating. Everyone else was on laptops.
Oh, come on.
And there was 1 or 2 dirty cups that had been there for 2. But some people hadn't even bothered with the initial drink thing that they do.
Cheeky.
So the whole place was taken out. I'm guessing that the reading room at the British Library was like a Viking feast with food all over. But I couldn't believe... Shoot. I mean, laptop.
There's got to be priority for the eaters.
But the clue's in the name, isn't it? Laptop. Should be on your lap, not on a
You're
table.
right.
In a cafe.
Yeah, it's not called tabletop, is it?
And I'm just
Confuse you.
presuming that the British Library gets some of the proceeds, somewhat, or most
From the
maybe.
cafe?
Yeah, there. It might be a private franchise.
Yeah.
But they got to get some of it. So these people are robbing the British Library.
These people.
I couldn't believe
These
it.
child.
You think they're in there for the free Wi-Fi and they're not even buying a
Oh, wow.
Americano?
What-
Do you know what?
I
That
say-
hadn't even occurred to me, but it did occur to you.
Oh,
But
look.
I think you're right.
It was. We were 3. I found Kat was whispering to me over the meal. I said, "What are you whispering?" I know it looks like we're in a library room, but this is the cafe. We can talk. I honestly, it really wound me. I blame J.K. Rowling.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
She was the one who made it super cool to sit in a cafe on the laptop, and everyone thinks they're going to...
Can you write in cafes? I can't.
Harry Potter and the Catering Table of Work. I don't know if you read that.
It's one of my faves.
But she must have closed down hundreds of cafes by filling them with people who are just typing and not eating and
You're
drinking.
right. You're right. Unintended consequences.
Yeah, that'd be a good texting.
They should have a laptop area.
That'd be a dark texting, wouldn't it?
What are the unintended consequences?
And the way they looked at us like, oh, look at those. We're surfing the information highway, and these people are just stuffing their faces of plebs. And look, this is the cafe! It's the cafe! Really?
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So your birthday? Oh no, the cafe we were in.
Yes. Well, that was... Oh, I had another birthday... Here.
Hear ye.
Do you remember when it was Alan's birthday once, and you bought him some fashionable slippers?
Yes.
Me, Alan Cochrane, yeah.
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 What were
They
they?
were called Mojabes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Or is
what
it-
I don't know what they had a distinctive look to them. They're cool, aren't
They've
they?
got quite a bright yellow soul, the ones that I got. Yeah.
Well, we all have, darling.
Oh, have
You
idea-
haven't actually. Yours is,
they? Mine's quite dark, I think.
yeah, yours is
The
sort of a
idea-
metallic grey.
Thanks.
The idea behind them, Al, is that they're sort of indoor outwear.
Yeah.
Do you wear them much, Al?
I occasionally go out in them and I
Okay.
sometimes pad around the house in them.
I
Yeah.
thought they got a kung fu feel to them.
I felt that. It's a
Yeah.
bit Kill Bill as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so after you got them, I started getting lots of adverts for them on my internet.
Did you?
And I've heard this theory that, they send,
Yeah.
if you look up stuff,
Oh,
they
right.
send you adverts
Yes,
for
Yes.
it.
What's it called? Targeted marketing.
I'm glad that didn't work in the old days.
Yeah. Good point.
But also, apparently, if you're in regular contact with like if I'm
Yes.
regularly texting or whatever the producer of the show, and then she organises, or he organises those slippers, then I start getting those.
No
Yeah.
way.
Well, the rumour is
Well-
also that conversations as well you have.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know if
about the
they say.
microphones.
I don't know if that's true, but I've always thought, and some people say to me, this is a terrible invasion of privacy, and this is like 1984, and
And some people
East
love it.
Germany and all that, and I think this is brilliant.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Doctor Who thing was out. Obviously,
Yeah.
that doesn't happen very often, but you know what I mean. I like to be kept in touch with stuff I might want to purchase. But then this last couple of weeks, I'll do this briefly. But a couple of when I was 2 years ago, my partner bought me a bracelet which had got a very personal to us
Yes.
loving message on it, which meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
And when I got pneumonia this year, in all the kerfuffle of all that, I lost it in Inverness. I lost it in Inverness. It's official. In fact, I've still got the receipt somewhere. Anyway, so I was really upset about that. And then the other week I was looking at News Now West Bromwich Albion. It's the transfer window, so I'm looking at
Yes.
it every day to see what was
Yeah.
happening. And by a strange coincidence, there was an advert for one of these bracelets, and I thought, you know what? I could replace it. I could get. It hadn't occurred to me because I was still looking really. And I thought, that's a good idea. And the next day, there was another advert for it. And I thought, wow, that's really weird. So at my birthday, Kath gives me the replacement bracelet.
Monica Vernada, I believe.
So it actually spoilt this method,
Yeah.
which I haven't heard it criticised for this. It spoilt the surprise of
Yes.
my birthday gift
Yes.
by sending
Yeah.
me advert for a romantic bracelet in the middle of News Now West Bromwich Albion update.
Absolutely.
I mean, God damn it! I was.
You don't want the surprise spoil.
You know how
It's
it
like if your
works,
partner's
though.
having an affair and you get Tinder ads suddenly.
It's so,
you spoil the surprise.
It's somewhat fabulously sci-fi about it. Though.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
It's not because it's not coming from your computer. Like you haven't searched for the bracelet thing. Your
Yeah, my
your
partner.
address,
She has.
your internet home
Your
address,
IP.
as it were.
Yeah.
Pipe that it's coming in.
It makes
if you
me
like.
wonder what
Great use of pipe.
what some female partners must be getting coming through, though.
Well,
Yeah.
this is what I mean.
I know, but I mean, I don't look at anything I wouldn't want. But buying someone else a present, this is the first time I've realised it's not such a great idea. And then I got Property in Liverpool advert this week.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
thought, I am doing a couple of gigs in Liverpool soon, and I booked a hotel. So I've had texts about the hotel and emails about what hotel I'm at and that in Liverpool. And now I've got to buy a property in Liverpool. I mean, they're closing in, guys.
You're going to have to go incognito browsing.
If I get a sheepskin
Oh, yeah.
suit advert this week, I'll know it's gone too far.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215. You can follow the show on Twitter and indeed Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Or alternatively, you can email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
And we've had some tweets in, Frank.
Tweets, you say?
One from David Groenewegen.
Oh, yeah.
He's referring to your Guinness record-breaking achievements.
Okay.
Or we should say framed pictures, framed certificates this morning. If one of these records is broken, does Frank have to give the certificate back, or does it just shred itself, Banksy style?
I hope it doesn't shred itself. I think they.
I thought you were going to say Banksy style, then, as if it's a phrase that's
As if it's
just
a thing.
yeah.
I think they inflame. What if they did that?
Oh.
Well, I've got. Can you? This dates everything. I have a certificate for the biggest solo stand-up gig in the world,
Wow.
and it's 6,000 people in the audience, which now
Oh, it's so sweet.
Russell Howard would regard. He'd get that for a signing.
Like a warm-up gig or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But at the time, that was a massive gig. It was at Battersea Power Station, in fact. So I've still got. They haven't made me give it back, even though it's woefully out of date.
No,
So
you
now
hang on to that, darling.
It just was a moment. It's like when you say former world record holder Paula Radcliffe.
It's like being ex-Miss
Yeah.
World. You still did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
Yeah.
David Haggart has been in touch as well.
Devo,
Hi, Frank.
Hago.
I just
Davos. That's what.
That's where he's
In
been.
Yorkshire, they used to call David Davos.
Sound like his terrible pub friend.
I saw a bloke he was a performance poet from Yorkshire, and he said that he was selling something, and this bloke phoned up, and every time he lived in a student house, every time he phoned up, a different person had answered the phone to the bloke who was trying to buy this thing. So when he finally got through to this performance poet to ask him, the guy on the other end of the line said, "Now then, Davos, dost thou live in a commune?" And he'd written this performance poem in which he was just going, "Now then, Davos, now then, Davos, now then, Davos does live in a commune, now then, Davos," over and
Sounds
over.
great.
It was.
Very Marky Smith.
Of course, when I moved in with David Baddiel, at any hint of a guest or a phone call or anything, I said, "Now then, Davos does live in a commune."
Oh, I love your chimpanzee look today. It's very sweet.
Oh, thank you.
So David Haggart,
Yeah.
I said, "Hi, Frank," and this is in reference to your targeted advertising you were talking about with your bracelet. That
yes,
lovely
yes.
bracelet Kath bought you.
Can I say also? I wrote this also this week in that same advert things. I've had a King Crimson gig.
Oh, yeah.
Saying so. Then that must be that could be from Apple Music or whatever.
Yes.
Maybe.
And also a walk-in shower enclosure.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't a bath. At first, I thought it's a bath. It's a walk-in bath. But yeah, walk-in
Imagine if Kath
shower
had been
enclosure.
Googling that for you.
Yeah.
Stand a stair lift.
Oh
I
wow.
want one of those. How early can you get them?
I've always the walk-in bath. I don't even know. Does it work like
It's
a lock on a canal?
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like,
That's what I think. I think you have to wind down the door, and then only half of it has got water in, and then you go into the dry end.
Yeah.
And then
one
you
of
have
our science nerds that's listening
like
will
a-
explain how that can happen.
It feels like a risky proposition.
You surely don't just sit there while the bath fills. Surely not.
No.
That would be boring.
Oh,
Fascinating,
no.
though. I'm going to be Googling that, and guess what I'll be getting pop-up ads for?
Oh, that's the trouble, yeah, if you Google it.
And you don't want some date seeing walk-in baths come up on your phone.
No.
I mean,
No.
come on.
No, it's a good point.
Can we go back to Davos, please?
Oh, yeah.
We've still got to read this
Yes,
week.
okay.
David Haggart. Hi, Frank. I just bought a marble pastry slab. Big wow.
Oh, yeah.
Today's random advert on Facebook is for 500 grams of French baker's yeast.
Oh.
Wow.
There you go.
But that's brilliant,
That's how
because
they get you.
he's probably on the lookout for yeast. Well, we all are.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's tomorrow's
It's killing
advert
me.
gonna be for?
And I'd also just finally like to round off with Kate Griffiths, one of our regulars, I think, Frank.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember we were talking about the sheepskin suit, and we had someone from Suffolk referring to us as townies, I believe?
Yeah,
think
because
he might
which
be
is
a
fair enough,
farmer.
because he said you don't
Yeah.
have to kill a sheep to get
Yes.
a sheepskin
Just
suit.
wool, to get the wool.
Kate
Yeah.
says, I only just caught the tail end of the sheepskin suit thing. If it's a wool suit, that would be okay. But if it's sheepskin suit, of course the sheep would have to be dead. Hashtag not from Suffolk.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you could replace it with a series of grafts on a sheep. Skin grafts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I think maybe you could do a sheepskin and keep it alive, as long as you'd had to have something around it to stop it falling apart, obviously. If you could, like, as you took it off, you could feed it into a rubber glove. Anyway.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, do you remember when you went to the Brits? I mean, as an audience member.
Yes.
I think you've been a couple of times now.
Yes. Oh.
Never speak of the other times, do we? Never ever comes up.
You've brought that up.
No, I didn't.
I remember being quite surprised, pleasantly surprised, that you became a fan of the pop group Little Mix.
Well, let's not go over the top, but they did do, I think that Little Mix Who Knew became the big thing, that, because they did a fabulous performance.
A great turn.
Was it a turn? Shout Out to My Ex or Black Magic? Absolute banger.
I don't know if it was, it rocked the joint.
Shout Out to My Ex, I think it was.
Really?
Oh, producer thinks it's Black Magic, and you know what? I trust her on this.
Yeah. I think it was Tuesday Envelope. That's album track of theirs. But she
one of
gets
the
a letter on a
rarities.
Tuesday morning and it's dumping her.
Yeah.
And it turns out it's been there all across the weekend. But tucked under the mat. It was tucked under the mat.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd actually been together over the weekend, and he was still carrying on with her.
Strange.
You think
It's a great. I got your Tuesday envelope when I was filled with hope. She was filled with hope, but now I know that you're gonna go. You're gonna go. Oh yeah, you're gonna go. That one, you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the rarities of Little Mix for any fans there.
Without wishing to put Little Mix down, I think you're sort of imposing an almost Beatles-like narrative structure on their work. It felt a bit Lennon-McCartney,
Was
that
it? Well,
composition of yours.
I don't think they should balk at that.
I think they've cited them as an influence, Emily.
Oh, okay, all right.
In many interviews,
Have they?
Little
Okay.
Mix have said.
Well, I would say Shout Out to My Ex is the sort of Hey Jude of their oeuvre, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
The reason I raised them is because they were...
I never knew you raised them.
Yeah.
Do you know, I look
You've
good on
been
it.
very modest about that.
Well, do you
They were
know,
feral
it's funny
before.
you should say that.
They were feral, just running around.
Yeah, feral. Not even like Foster, just completely feral.
Totally feral. They were wild,
Wow,
actually.
way.
I have to say, I think I look a bit like I could be their sort of manager. You know, like a
I think you
maternal
could-
figure,
I think
like a
you could
mum.
have raised
Yeah, I
them.
think I could have raised them. I think I could
I've
have.
seen one of those newspaper stories that they'd been kept in a cupboard for like 15 or 16 years.
In Basques.
Yeah,
Stilettos and Basques.
only given food, water, and basks. That was the only thing that ever came through the letterbox of
Christmas,
their
a
cupboard.
lip liner. Well, Perry Edwards, one of
Oh
them,
yes, I remember him.
played for Arsenal in the 70s.
Yeah.
She was talking about award ceremonies recently because the Brits are coming up again, Frank. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
And she said she likes to practice a losing face because none of them like to lose. She said it hurts the soul.
It hurts the soul.
I liked her for that, Frank.
Should have the headline should have been Little Mix acknowledge the existence of the immortal soul.
Yeah. Scientists still haven't proven that there is one, though, have they?
No, but I'm just saying a Little Mix. They're part of that school
Yeah.
of thought.
Yeah.
Because she also said when you're having to smile inside, you're thinking, "Damn it."
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
thought, existence of hell, also acknowledged. I mean, it's quite a deep theological interview
It
she's
is.
done, but of course the papers have picked up on quite the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Like the Sun today said a bloke had found a Bronze Age chariot underground, and headlines it could get up to £1 million. And you think, oh, let's reduce it to that,
Yeah.
guys. And then they got a picture of a woman in like a stone bikini sitting in a field. They haven't, but
She said it was the time on the X Factor that had made them pros.
Of course, because you have to
They had to steal themselves.
wear your heart on your sleeve on the X Factor.
Every week, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
On the call out to my X Factor.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah. Is that what the film, what that was the song was called?
Shout out to my ex.
Oh, shout
Okay.
out. Oh,
There was
so
also
close.
Goodbye My LAX
I'm not
by
very
Rachel
good.
Stevens, first song of her solo career.
Oh, was it?
Wow, well
Okay.
done. Well done, everyone.
Good stuff.
But I liked her honesty.
It's
Yes.
very
It
It was
honest.
a bit of what I call FT, frank truth.
Oh, yeah.
She went there.
No, it's but at the moment they're getting more wins than loses. I would have thought, Little Mix.
Which is surprising, given that they're spending some of
I
their...
wonder what you were going to say. That's surprising considering they're robbed.
No. I was going to say, given that they're spending some of what must be scarce and precious practice time, because they've got a lot of moves and stuff, haven't they? Like they dance.
Oh yeah,
and
a lot of
Oh, they
moves.
don't.
a lot of practice
Oh,
involved.
they're I don't know any words for attractive kids. What's the kids' word? Scenic. They're
Scenic.
well scenic.
But they're taking
Yeah.
some of that practice time to do loser face practice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Surely that's coming out of the budget of actual practice.
Well,
for the
they
good...
might be practicing on their own. I just hope
Yeah.
I hope it's not in
Oh,
a
come on.
rear view mirror.
whilst driving.
Well, maybe an agricultural vehicle pulling over out of a
Yeah,
side
you
road.
don't want that, do you?
God. They're getting some expert in, like, I don't know, Tim Henman. And he'll give them a masterclass on the losing face.
Yeah,
I should think you could get an hour of Henman for, say, $4,000.
probably.
That'd be my guess. I don't know if Henman's agent is, but I'd say an hour, $4,000. If there's no tennis playing.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Talking about Perry Edwards of Little Mix fame and
Paddy
the
Edwards.
group as a whole. Did you know Perry
Could
Edwards?
you name them, Em?
Yeah, I'm going to try. Perry Edwards.
No prompting from the producer.
No, I'm not looking at Jessie Nelson.
Okay.
Lee Ann Edwards. I've just made that
Another
up.
Edwards.
I don't know if that's right. Oh, no, not Edwards.
The
Pinnock.
sisters?
I've just made that up.
Neil
Pinnock.
Pinnock.
And the third one,
Fourth one.
fourth one.
Is Pinnock a surname?
I don't know, I've just made
Could
it up.
be.
What is it?
I can't remember the fourth one. I'm really sorry.
Oh,
What about we?
I've done all right, three. Fourth one, please.
Me and my child built a family of snowmen yesterday, and Boss, he named them as Ellie was the wife, the dad was Jupiter, and the dog. I thought Jupiter had you top that dog was Snowy. I thought you couldn't get a more aptly named dog than that. Well, let's not go into the names of. I just thought you might know. I might have been impressed by that.
Well, Perry dates Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
oh yeah.
Oh, I hope it's not her that's caused him his major injury.
You think?
No, I don't know. Who knows what goes on nowadays?
He said the best thing
She's
ever.
well scenic.
She is.
Lee, did you know the...
I don't know what she looks like, but I'm,
Scenic.
Me
I'm
neither.
guessing she's
No,
well
she
scenic.
is. She used to go out with Harry Styles, Frank. Huh?
Did
no,
she?
No,
No.
the other one, Zayn
Zayn.
Malik.
Zane Styles.
Zayn Styles.
I wish
Malik
you'd said
Styles.
she used to go out with Nobby Styles.
That would have been a bit of news, wouldn't it?
I'd say that'd be a good...
Terrible age gap.
Nobby
Shall we have
dancing,
like
I'll
a
say.
proper, let's have a proper radio texting.
Oh, yeah, go on then. What is
Like
it?
last week.
What is it?
No, like a, what
you
about
rather?
unusual crush?
Oh, that's good. What?
tell you-
Nobby Styles?
Well, mine. No, when I say unusual crush, mine. Do you know Ray from Star Wars?
Oh, yeah.
Daisy.
Yeah. I think... I know exactly who you
Yeah.
mean. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, not actually
Daisy.
her. Not actually Ridley. Not actually her, but there's a... I saw a Lego version of her in Hanley's, and I thought, wow,
Whoa.
looks amazing. Yeah. And I felt a little uneasy around it, and I thought I'm
Yeah,
going to have to
yeah.
get out of it. It's life size.
Oh, was it?
And
Oh, that's a
Daisy
problem.
Ridley, don't get me wrong, is a very attractive woman, but it's never really...
It's the doll.
She's never, let's say, floated my boat, but I
Right.
think she's brilliant in the film.
Yeah.
She's scenic. I'm not denying
She's
that.
scenic.
But there was something about her Lego
The doll.
version.
Okay, Frank, that is up there. I'm going to...
Can I say one other one
Please
that I picked up quite recently? And this might mean nothing to
Is
you.
this Obscure Crushes?
Obscure Crush.
Yeah, come on.
The tiger in Kung Fu Panda. Something really sort of slinky and... it's very hard to say. Obviously slightly feline, but very... words I can't use, but sensual.
I don't like this. Kath's going to start seeing ads popping up. Tiger Sanctuary.
It gives me a chance to actually sing. Oh, that tiger! Oh, that with real venom.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Strange moment off air just then. We were just looking up pictures of this tiger character
From Kung Fu Panda.
in Kung Fu Panda that Frank has a crush on. And what happened, Al? Someone suggested putting a photo up, and Frank got oddly sort of defensive, and I'm going to go a bit upset. So no, you don't really get the sense without the movement. You don't really get a sense of what it's like, didn't you?
I didn't think it was a very flattering shot of the tiger.
Genuinely sounded quite upset.
I was saying to Emily, so I found myself watching the Kung Fu Panda films, looking forward to the next scene that she's in.
You said,
Oh dear.
so I was really looking forward to it. And then you said, yeah, you really need to see her moving.
Is there like a sort of a hip wiggle or something? Is that what you're...
I don't think we should describe it on breakfast television.
Oh, really? Graphic.
No, we're not on breakfast television, incidentally. Terrible flashback moment there. It was a bit Sunset Boulevard.
Oh. 062 has informed us, hi Frank and company, the tiger in Kung Fu Panda is voiced by Angelina Jolie, so it's meant to be sexy and slinky.
Oh, well, I've fallen for the Jolie spell.
It's absolutely appropriate what you're doing.
Of course.
Well, I don't know about that, Al.
No, it's absolutely appropriate. It's what the filmmakers want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about my, surely you remember one of my obscure crushes?
I can remember your obscure crush.
Who
Oh,
is it,
Vince
please?
Cable.
Vince Cable.
Oh, I'd hardly call that obscure.
Oh, and
That's
Henry
brilliant.
VIII.
I think you're forgetting the third one.
Who's
Okay.
that?
Son of canoe man John Darwin.
Oh,
yes.
I've only
of
ever seen
course.
one photograph of him.
Excellent work.
In a Sunday Times supplement, there was a photograph of him. So it's
Very
based
good.
on one photo alone, but I just thought he looked attractive.
Well,
That is
people
good.
have met on that basis, of course. It's in the modern world.
The Darwins are hard to track down.
Well, yeah, exactly. Where do you park your kayak when you meet him? Yeah.
My one's difficult. 'cause
What's
it's
yours?
never going to be realised. Never.
What is it?
Well, I
Do you know
doubt
there's a-
Tiger in Kung Fu Panda. It's going to come off.
That's a good point. You make a very good point. Do you know the Netflix television series Making a
Theresa
Murderer?
May?
You know the Making a Murderer series?
Yes.
The victim, Teresa Holbeck. I fancy Teresa Holbeck.
Oh,
She's pretty.
I haven't seen this. Do you mean she's...
No, she's no longer
She's
with
no longer
us.
with us.
no longer with us.
But there's
Okay.
quite a
We
few
know it's Henry
pictures of
VIII,
her as a nice, happy young woman. She's
Okay.
pretty. Like,
Well, I
obscure
think that's-
crush.
Her memory lives on.
Yeah.
Lovely. Have you seen her in Lego?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We've had a lot of people sending in their strange crushes.
Good.
Lauren, Aladdin is a dreamboat.
Aladdin. The cartoon one she's meaning, I'm presuming.
Yeah, Lauren, could you please elaborate? I'm assuming so.
Elaborate.
Yeah.
No, it'll be that one, yeah.
The Doggy Network likes Bob the Builder.
Really?
Friendly, reliable, always willing to lend a hand. And he wears a tool belt.
Oh,
I quite
yeah.
like a tool belt. I
Yeah,
see
well,
that.
Yeah, I can see that as,
Yeah, I
as
get
an
it.
element of Batman in a tool belt.
Or Chippendale sort of thing.
Yeah, of course. Or Village People.
Yes.
Something for everyone. With
Something
Bob the
for
Builder.
everyone.
We were discussing obscure crushes off air as well. And Faye, one of our team members, said she liked Simba, didn't she, Frank?
Simba, but in a fabulous 2018 people being
2019
very
now.
careful. She said, I really fancied Simba. But not young Simba, Simba when he grew up.
Yeah.
And, you're right. Nothing
Yeah.
weird. Just a lion, a fully grown lion.
Yeah.
Sarah, the
Yeah.
producer, was a fan of The Beast
Yeah, the beast.
on The Chase.
And we've had...
That's who you meant, isn't it? I'm a Governess fan myself, but...
And
Yeah.
we also had Robin Hood
Yes,
in fox form.
yes, we did. And I suggested that the Cadbury's Caramel Bunny was somewhat basic and
Yeah,
Route
exactly.
1 choice of crush.
Straightforward. Always worried me, the caramel bunny, because it got quite a lot of makeup on, which suggested it had escaped from some sort of laboratory. I thought there was a dark edge to the whole thing, considering it was a advert for confectionery. But anyway, well, whoever sprung
Beagle Companion.
the what was it called?
Sprung the bunny.
Whoever sprung, yeah,
Whoever sprung him from the moor like one of the Greys.
yeah.
Somebody has emailed saying Rachel Johnson knocks me bandy, which is a lovely turn of phrase.
Yes.
And it creeps him out because she looks a lot like her brother Boris, which, that's fine.
Yeah, I can see that you get again a bit of. That's why. Isn't
like
that why
Knocks Me
Nick
Bandy,
Cage?
though.
Didn't Nick Cage was a massive Elvis fan, and he married
Oh, really?
yes.
Lisa Marie.
Yeah, that's not
that must make
creepy.
her feel special.
And I thought if
Creepy much?
if I went out with Lisa Marie, how long before I said you wouldn't put the white jumpsuit on?
What about this one, Frank? This is a bit strange, guys. Someone said Zola Bud, obviously. I mean, I won't name and shame them because they may have personal reasons for this, and then they deleted the tweet.
Oh,
Maybe they got cold feet.
very.
Oh.
Of course, she was one of my. I wrote to Zola Bud.
Did you?
Yes, I mean it was a strange time in my life. I was just coming off the drink, and I was discombobulated. I think it's right. Discombobulate. The builder be like, but I did. I wrote to her, saying what a great admirer I was of her and stuff like that. And if ever she'd like to meet, I mean, it didn't go into darkness, but it was overcast. Let's put it that way. I always think she's one of the people who got me off the drink, because I started running as following her inspiration.
Oh, really? That's nice.
Yeah, but weird. You don't get this on Capital.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215. You can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, and email the show via the Absolute Radio website. We appreciate them all.
We've had a load, Al, haven't we?
We have, and a little correction as well.
Yeah.
Hold
there's-
it. Correzione, ole, ole, ole.
Long-time reader, the tiger in Kung Fu Panda was actually played by Ian McShane, but I would guess that it's...
Is that who Frank
But I would guess it's Tigress who floats Frank's freaky boat,
I don't know
who
if
is
you- I
played
don't-
by
I don't-
Angelina Jolie.
Tigress. I hope
I'm
her autobiography
assuming-
is I, Tigress.
I'm assuming...
Come on. Come on.
I'm assuming that as people now say actor instead of actress and stuff like that, that they're all tigers.
Tiger and
I think that's
Tiger.
wrong.
Al,
Yeah, I
imagine
think
if
it
Frank
might
had
be.
found out it was Ian McShane after all these years.
It's got something about
What
him.
about when I asked,
very good in
I asked
Deadwood.
my son his favourite animal at the zoo, and he said the lion, the men lion.
Oh, yeah.
It was all to do with the mane, and there is that thing. When you think lion, you think mane.
Yeah.
Come on,
That's
girl.
fair enough. I'm sorry.
Come on,
Yeah.
girls. You'll have to get a
I know.
piece if it's not going to grow naturally.
Lovely waist, though, we've got. What about 189, whose odd crush when I was a boy, Marina from Stingray?
I know that. You see, I don't want to cast aspersions
Before I
because,
moved on to Lulu, sorry.
I get hay fever, and I liked Atlanta from
Okay, well, something for everyone in that show.
Atlanta Shore. All the names were like puns on sea type thing. So Atlanta shore. People who like Marina, I was always a bit wary of because Marina, I don't know what the politically correct term is nowadays, but she was a mute.
Oh.
And I think someone who they like the mute woman. I thought, I'm not sure. I mean, she was beautiful. I'm not saying she wasn't, and could swim like a fish.
Yeah.
Because
Again, very defensive about his crushes. No room for any other
phones
crushes.
would say something. I think Marina's trying to tell us something, Troy. And I think she had a bit of telepathy or stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, I think she came from
Probably
the
all that salt water.
Aquafibian kingdom, so had some connection with Titan.
Right.
Anyway, let's not get
Well,
too far
I was
into
actually
Stingray.
always, I've got to say, Man from Atlantis was one of mine. Remember him?
Oh, Duffy, yeah.
Yeah, played by Patrick
I
Duffy.
loved his swimming style.
So did I.
Yeah.
I mean, hands at the sides.
Beautiful.
Swimming, you don't
Absolutely
see
stunning.
that very often. The only man I knew who had swimming trunks with pockets. Because he
Useful.
could just keep his
I
hands
didn't
in
know there were
there.
pockets.
829, my strange crush is Frank.
That is weird.
I don't think it's that
I
strange.
think that's so kind.
I'm 62. What is she? An Egyptologist? I'm saying she. Who knows?
Yeah?
408, my partner has a thing about the body from The Cube.
Now, what is that?
I don't know that.
So in The Cube, the ITV show The Cube,
Yeah.
they get people on who have to perform various sort of stunts and feats.
Yeah.
And there's somebody in a white all over morph suit
Okay.
All right.
who goes through it first, who does the stunt
Oh,
first,
I
and shows them
see.
how they do it. And Philip Schofield says, and then the clock will tick down, and you see the body who looks a bit like White Power Ranger.
Yeah.
So like a sort of a version of the Stig, but doing these
You
movements.
got it in one.
Got you.
Again, the anonymity, the facelessness obviously appeals.
And they haven't been exposed in the press as to who the body is.
It's
been exposed on the
I mean,
telly
it's
in a
quite
way.
tight.
Yeah. But we don't know. Do we know who the body
We
is?
don't know who the body is.
Wow. It could be somebody well known.
Imagine
be.
if it was. Imagine if it's John McCririck.
Oh, yeah. It's the only way you can get work now. Is there any, on the headpiece of the suit, is there a slight bulging around the sides of the face? where he hadn't folded the sideburns properly before he put that thing on? And it's like, the outline of actually, if you had the outline of a deer stalker, the whole thing would look obscene.
And the glasses on the lanyard, you can just see them bursting through.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We were discussing this Little Mix revelation that they practice having like the right facial expression for being losers.
Can you name any of Little Mix? Al?
No, I don't really know their work at all.
Gene Wilson,
Oh yeah,
Stephanie Harris,
Gene.
Stephanie Harris is my favourite. I think now.
I named three.
Now,
Sue Mills,
not such a big fan.
You get so many genes, Frank, these days.
Madge Henderson.
Madge,
Yeah.
the brains behind the outfit, of course.
Exactly.
Madge.
Well, I don't know if the brains behind the outfit. Didn't take much thinking.
What about when Alex...
Well,
Sorry.
scenic.
Well, scenic.
He's trying to get that to catch on, isn't he?
What about if it became a youth phrase
That would
from
be great.
me?
I think it will, like Dench.
I think she might be pneumatic, but that could be that I've just read Brave New World.
Showing off.
You know that
Show off.
you know that thing you said last week.
Swallowed a dictionary for breakfast.
You know, last week you said that you were trying your best not to interrupt other people, but some of them aren't that interested in it.
Some people need interrupting.
Yeah.
Well, I have a problem with my face that it is dour, and it's not really
Yes,
my
it is.
fault.
It is
'cause
sour.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought it
I was born in Scotland and brought up in Yorkshire. Like it's if you
Now
wanted
then,
ingredients,
Davos, does they live in a
Exactly.
commune?
if you wanted ingredients for a dour facial
Yeah.
expression, that's
You've got them all.
so I have to practice like looking interested and light-hearted and
When you're going
engaged.
to
in
bring it into
conversation. Yeah,
public?
exactly, it's really difficult.
You got dour resting face.
Yeah, I think I have.
Yeah,
I don't know. Sometimes you walk around and you see other people. Sometimes I'll pass someone in the street that they look like they're walking to work or they're going to buy a sandwich and they're grinning.
Yeah, that's a worry, that.
And I
Because
look at them and
sometimes
think,
people say to me, "Whoa, cheer up, Frank."
Ugh.
And I think, but if I walked around smiling, people would think I had problems.
No, we got an email the other day saying that someone had seen you jogging and chuckling at yourself.
Oh, no, but that was,
That's
I
it.
probably just thought of one of my marvellous jokes. I think if it comes to losing faces, which is what Little Mix are after, probably the best template is Mussolini. Unfortunately, we only ever see it upside down.
Extraordinary.
But it's a striking expression of loss. Which, if they could maintain that,
How are you towards ceremonies when you lose? I mean, I say that. I think I've probably. Have I been with you when we've lost?
well,
Probably.
yeah, we did. We got silver.
We
one
came
year,
second.
which
I
is-
don't think
remember
I can
those
repeat on
those-
commercial radio what you said.
Those old ladies beat us. Do you remember that? There was two very old ladies who did a radio show somewhere in the north.
Hull or something, wasn't
Oh,
it?
yes.
Yeah, they beat us. So if you're going to lose, it was a night. It was like when Leicester won the Premiership.
Exactly.
It had
You
that
got
kind of feel to us. I don't think both of them are still with us actually, but God bless them. So losing to them was not so bad. But I don't like. I mean, I got nominated in 9 consecutive years. I got nominated for 11 comedy awards
Is that right?
and never won any of them.
Oh, wow.
And then eventually,
Still a disgrace.
I think I won one then in an for goodness. In fact, the year I won one, which was something like ITV personality or something, my manager was on the panel. So that's what I had to do. I had to get the enemy within thing going on to get in there at all. So it was.
My favourite loser moment was when. Do you remember there was an Oscars and I think Michael Keaton was up against Eddie Redmayne.
Okay.
And when Eddie Redmayne got up, you just saw it was awful. He got caught doing this. Him putting the speech back into his jacket pocket.
Oh,
well,
no.
I've got a few old speeches from. Nominations.
Have you?
Have
But,
you?
I can't use jokes about the miners' strike.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
I think A Town Called Malice is based on A Town Called Alice. Is that right?
Is it?
Oh, yes. That sounds right. Yeah.
I think that's right. Is there a film called A Town Called Alice?
Yeah. Book film.
I think of this because we used to have a thing on this show called Idiotic Eureka Moments when you realised things that everyone else knew.
Yes.
And we had one in today. We haven't had one for ages.
We
have
did. 515 has texted morning to Le Monde. I don't know what that means, but went to the flicks
Everyone.
to see...
To Le Mans.
Well,
I see.
everything, really. Yeah.
Went to the flicks to see Vice last night. Said to my missus this morning, I don't get the title though, because Dick Cheney was vice president, she replied, concerned. I'm sure you used to have a section for these eureka moments. Feeling stupid, Lenny.
I mean, that's a good
Brackets the block.
I must admit, I knew about that film and I hadn't put...
one. Really?
I hadn't been to see it, but I hadn't put the two together.
Oh, really?
Extraordinary.
Of course, Dick Cheney had a connection with Prince Albert, I think, of
Did he?
Monaco. Yeah.
Goodness me. Did you find, because I always did, on Big Brother,
Yeah.
that was always one of my worst things, when they would pretend they were happy to leave. Because I think, when there was one, do you remember that? And I always wanted them to be upset. That's the point. And why did they pretend every time? There was a man, Stuart. Yes, I remember all the names of every contestant.
Okay.
you?
I think it was series 1 or 2. And it was like, Stuart, you have been evicted. He was
Was
first.
he a slightly older guy?
Yes,
I
like a
remember. I
businessman.
remember him. Blue eyes.
Yes.
Slight element of shotgun blast in the face.
It's why we're friends.
Yeah.
Okay. And he punched the air first to leave the house, not third, not even second,
Oh.
first. Then he went, "Yes, I'm coming home." And I thought, "You idiot! You're not
Nonsense.
happy.
Yeah.
That's not a
it's-
good. Yeah, that is
That's
a
a
sore
very
loser.
good example of the losing face, actually.
Come on.
And also when he went, yes, I'm coming home. If a camera could go right across Britain, there'd be nobody going, yay! There'd just be cut to an empty house where he'd be going home to. Like a flat. Not quite, he's left it quite tidy and stuff. Few envelopes by the door, but nothing. That's my view. It's different because I've been on the losing end of a few of those things, and you end up like just trying to smile and pretend it's okay. It is. What can you do?
I think you can go Elton John.
Oh,
What did he do?
He does loads. When Madonna won some award, and he said best live act.
Did he?
Bit of a joke, isn't it? You're not meant to lip sync if you lie. Like, he went
yeah.
for it.
Well, I think that's probably better. Of course, this is the advantage. That I don't know if you've ever been at an award ceremony with the man in the iron mask, but it's easy for him.
Oh yeah.
Good company at those, isn't he?
Oh, he is, yeah. Stoic.
Right, laugh.
Very stoic. And if you need to strike a match, of course you can't do it anymore. I'm on about when he used to go to them regularly.
Yeah.
Then again, if he needs to go up to the stage, he's very quickly galvanised.
Very good.
Pablo's been in touch. A town like Alice.
Pablo?
Yeah. Neville Shute.
Ah.
There you go.
Do you know Neville Shute? Thanks for the tip. Oh, Neville Shute. That's good. Good note, that.
I know. I love that. I'm just seeing, would you like to know any more? I mean, someone says they like the Laughing Cow. Crazy Horse Star likes the Laughing Cow.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was quite a popular one, Laughing Cow.
Who is the Laughing Cow?
Is it on an advert?
On the cheeses.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a relief. I thought it was going to be some popular celebrity.
Well, it was me for a minute.
Somebody a bit unreconstructed.
That's what I get called on this show. There was a I don't, by the way.
Never.
There was, the little squares of, they're not squares, what are they? The little
Triangle.
triangles.
Dairy Lee triangles. Oh, yeah.
Joe Banks, Scott Tracy from Thunderbirds. Who wouldn't?
Now, Scott Tracy, who was Thunderbird 1,
Okay.
I remember reading an interview in TV21 when I was a child with Sylvia Anderson, the wife of Jerry.
Jerry, yeah.
And she did a lot of the puppet designs and costumes and stuff. I met Sylvia Anderson. I was really, really excited.
Yes, I would have been excited.
Really excited to meet her. If you remember when we died, we played I Wish I Were a Spaceman as our opening track. Anyway, so she said in the interview, they said, where do you get the idea for the faces from? And she says, well, Scott Tracy is based on James Garner from the Rockford Files.
No.
Yeah.
How? Oh, I like that.
Yeah, interesting bit of background there on the Thunderbird.
Finally, Julie Prune says, I have a total puppet crush on...
Judy Prune?
Julie Prunes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have a
Julie
total
Prunes?
puppet crush on Sweep from Sooty and Sweep, and for that reason have an intense hatred towards Sue the panda, puppet love rival.
Yes. Well, Sue is
Is Sue the girlfriend of Sweep?
Well, Sue... There was a time when Sue had a voice, and then she had a voice, but it used to be, oh, Mr. Corbett. And then they made it just a normal woman's voice. Like they thought that wasn't... They've obviously got a different person in.
Oh, I see.
Sorry, kids.
You know what I love about Frank? He knows all the puppet info.
But I also think Sweep was... I think liking Sweep is a bit like... fancying Sweep is like a bit like fancying David Baddiel in Newman and Baddiel. You feel you've gone the extra mile.
Wow.
No, well, I love it. But Rob Newman was a very, beautiful man, and he'd be like the. But when people go for the kind of one, like people who like Ringo in the Beatles,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I'm waiting for my phone to.
No, come on, that's not. You
July.
wouldn't say Dave wouldn't say he was better looking than Rob Newman, I'm sure. So I think going for Sweep is the obvious one is Sooty. But no, actually, I like the slightly rebellious saxophone-voiced one.
Yeah. Go for the drummer.
So I can see that they are available. Sweep, and you're in control, so to speak.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I think we should change the topic to admin news now.
Okay.
No, not really. It's fan mail news. Richard E. Grant has been in the papers this week.
I hope someone calls him Reg.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's
You'd
good
like to think his friends would call him. I don't know if he'd like it.
I don't know what he is to friends, but
What I like about him is
I call him E.
If I stand next to Richard E. Grant, which I have done a couple of times, it makes me look like I have quite a low hairline. Me and him look like the future. We look like what people will look like in the year 22,000. Anyway.
Vast brains. That's
he
right.
has got an otherworldly look about him, I think.
Yes, because he's
in a good way.
Yeah, well, he's the great intelligence in Doctor Who has been one of his roles.
Oh, has it?
I thought there'd
Did
be
not
some
know that.
Whovian
In
connection.
fact, there was an
Passed me by slightly, that.
An animated him was actually the Doctor.
No way.
I think I'm right about that. Yeah, I seem to
Well,
remember.
if you're
seeing-
wrong,
Well,
we'll get the correction.
Frank said
I think
earlier,
I've watched
Al,
it.
he wrote to Zola Bard. He's not alone.
Well, yeah.
Because
Richard E. Grant sent a letter to Barbara Streisand.
You
a long,
don't bring me
a long time ago.
Hours.
It's had a remix. In the 1970s, he sent her a letter inviting her to his home because she was having a difficult time.
That mean.
And he
So
said-
how old would he have been
He
then?
was 14.
Oh,
he was
look.
14. Nice of him.
Yeah.
Um,
A 2-week holiday, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
She was a crush of mine.
Was
Yeah.
she?
Oh, yeah. She was-
fabulous.
Sounds like she was a crush of his.
What's up,
Yeah.
Doc?
That boxing movie. What's that?
Final event or something, main event. He said, I read in the paper.
That's what the lionesses need.
I read in the paper that you're feeling very tired and pressurised by your fame and failed romance with Mr. Ryan O'Neill.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine right.
come
A bit
on.
Ouchie.
Oh, from the
He
mouth
was
of
14, though.
babes.
He was 14. Yeah.
I like Mr. Right.
Yes.
It's like when I did mainstream clubs in my very early days, that was how people, you know, that was that thing of saying, and now, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Shirley Bassey.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why they did that.
No.
He said, I would like to offer you a 2-week holiday or longer at our house with a pool. I've had offers like that.
With a pool.
But the worst thing he said, here you can rest and no one will trouble you.
No.
I assure you will not be mobbed in the street as your films only show in one cinema, so no one will know who you are.
Yes.
I'm not sure that is the worst thing he said.
What do you think it is?
I think it gets a bit beggy at the end with,
Go on.
in anticipation of a hasty reply.
It's the hasty.
But I
Yeah,
think Richard E. Grant, as he's grown up and become a celebrity himself, will know that
Yeah.
the last thing a celebrity wants is no one will know who you are. Whatever they say in interviews and stuff. Barbara Streisand
Yeah.
would shrivel up and die if she spent
Yeah.
2 weeks in a place where no one knew who she was. As would Richard E. Grant, and as would I. Let's make it completely clear.
Bit of FT there.
Can you hear a
Frank's true.
strange sort of humming?
Yeah, it's my stomach.
Oh,
No,
Congratulations.
some outdoor
Mazel tov.
drilling.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Barbara Streisand replied to Richard E. Grant, we should say, which was lovely.
Well, what he did is he revisited this, didn't he, on Twitter.
On the socials. He posted the letter.
Let's hope Zola Bud doesn't get any ideas about it.
What about when I wrote to Tim Roth?
Did
Did you?
I was about 12, I think, 13. You'd been in a Mike Lee TV movie. It was called Made in Britain.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Okay, yeah.
And I sent him a letter, and I remember saying to my mum, I really want to write to him.
Yeah.
And she said, OK, darling, I think he's with Markham and Froggatt. You know them.
Excellent.
They're agents. So I wrote him the letter. I think I said he was very gifted. I was imagine a 12-year-old, so arrogant.
Yeah.
You are wonderfully gifted.
Did you get a reply?
No, of course I didn't.
You
I
might.
really went off him
Give
after
it,
that.
Give it 40 years. You might well get
I
one.
went to see
How dare you.
that amazing Nicholas 8-hour Nicholas Nickleby at the Royal Shakespeare Company, and it blew me away. I remember, and I thought, I'll write, but I won't write to Threlfall or someone like that. I'll write to someone. I'll go halfway down the cast list,
down
and then
the
it
pecking
ups
order.
my chances of getting her.
You went, I fancy David Baddiel.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
wrote. So I went halfway down the list, wrote to this bloke, mainly because the actors came into the audience, and he just happened to be the one who was standing near to me.
What was his part?
So I wrote. No, he had a reasonable
Innkeeper.
part. Anyway, he didn't reply, so...
Oh.
I know, can you believe it?
Frank, can we just quickly say on the David Baddiel front, he has replied, how very dare Frank, firstly. But there's a kiss afterwards, which I think makes it okay.
Mm-hmm.
He goes on, although to be fair, I sometimes do get female Newman and Baddiel fans, now in their 40s, saying... And the thing is, I actually fancied you more, with the stress on the I, making it clear how much of an outlier this made her.
There you go.
I always thought you were the best looking, but there you go.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh, well, there you go.
Sorry, takes all sorts.
One of the things about this story, by the way, is the Twitterati are incredibly moved by
Very
it,
moved
aren't they?
by it.
People saying this is a really beautiful story. It's a beautiful story how Barbra Streisand completely ignored a 14-year-old boy living in Africa, but then wrote to him when he got nominated for an Oscar. It is a moving story.
Very moving.
It is. It's lovely. It
I'm
shows
with Frank
her
on this.
shows her in a fabulous light. And also Reg, who puts
Richard E. Grant.
who puts a picture of himself literally crying
He was
when
crying.
he saw the Twitter, which is so he reads this tweet from Barbra Streisand after all these years. He cries, and in the midst of his tears, Martha, I'm crying. Can you take a photo? I mean, humanity does not come out of this story that well. I don't think. But that's why I love it.
I liked when Shane Ritchie, he ruined it slightly, which I like. He replied and said, I wrote to Sheena Easton when I was your age. She told me to... And he used an expletive.
Yeah, well, you can, what did he write
One
to
can
her?
only imagine.
What did he write to her? Poor Sheena. She must have got some...
Yeah.
Yes.
I wonder if now that Richard E. Grant has been nominated for an Oscar, the actor that I used to work with, who always referred to him as Richard E. Can't, in a sort of
that's a relief.
sledge of his acting ability.
Oh,
I think,
gosh.
acting, Richard E. Can't. He might have to rephrase that.
That's
Start
a-
just calling
Can
him
we
Reg.
also say he's nominated for an Oscar, as you say.
Yeah.
Barbra Streisand on the Academy. Just saying.
Is she really?
Oh, wow.
Good timing. I'm just saying.
It's like when you had your agent on the Brits panel. Not the Brits, the Comedy Awards.
Well, her finally getting in touch with him because he's nominated reminded me. I left a well-known city. Well, it's Barclays. I left Barclays Bank. I've been with them about 13 years. And the manager phoned up my personal assistant and said, just tell us what the problem was. You know, if it's a member of staff upset him, I can deal with it. You know, we don't want him to go. And she said, no, he said he's been with Barclays since he was a student and he's never been very happy with the service. And the bloke said, yes, but we didn't know who he was then. Whoa!
Wow.
I thought, oh, well, I will rejoin the bank then. Anyway, one bad apple don't spoil the whole bunch. Girl, give it one more chance before you give up on love. So I'm sure there's some lovely people at Barclays. There you go. That's cleared that up
Strange way to end
legally.
the show.
What a pro, eh? We'll be glad of that little bit when it goes to court. So, and if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.